Issue 11 is probably the issue I've had the most ambivalence about so far. And not ambivalence in the I don't care sort of way, ambivalence in the I liked this a lot and I disliked this a lot kind of way. And I can pretty much sum that up in 2 words. Ian Ber-TRAM. I've never read a comic illustrated by Ian Ber-TRAM again. Or before, rather. I've never read a comic illustrated by Ian Ber-TRAM before. I was not familiar with the guy's work, And, he didn't do the cover. He didn't do the cover. I don't think, or if he did do the cover, it's wildly different from everything he was doing throughout the rest of the comic. Because, let me just say it, the art on this issue was atrocious. Good God! And I saw the post-game with whoever, wrote this one, and he said he really liked it. And you know what, more power to that, but good God, I hope we don't see this guy again. Because the art on this issue sucked! Ugh. It hurt. I mean, there is no accounting for taste, but, this art style, you can't even see it that well, there we go. This art style so betrays everything else that was going on. It's too bright. It's too goofy. It's too goofy. This would be better set in the Batman and Robin 66 adventures than in Batman Eternal with all the grim shit that's been going on in it. Ugh. It just killed the mood for me so many times. And that sucks because this was a good issue otherwise. For the most part. Some things I didn't like, but for the most part this was a good issue. It's just, man, that guy just drained my energy for this issue. Ugh. Too many ridiculous faces, too many, weird, sketchy color choices. I was not pleased with that, but again, for the most part, everything else is okay. So let's talk about this issue. It's our first real look at what Batgirl's been doing after we left her back in issue 4. She's down in Argentina, I believe, and she crashes onto the set of the Mexican soap opera that she mentioned. Mexican? I'm sorry. Latino soap opera. I try not to be one of those people. I try not to lump it all together. Mexican soap opera is just a go-to term for a lot of people because, when you see the really over-dramatic, oh, Dios mío, soap operas on TV. If you've ever seen a Mexican soap opera, then you can understand why it's easy to confuse what's going on here with a Mexican soap opera. They are insane. But anyway, so she's down there and she finds the guy who apparently had been hanging around the station during the Gordon train crash. So she gets him and she interrogates him. She wants to know, what were you doing there? What was going on? And she gets attacked by blue scorpion crazy lady here. I don't know where she came from, but she is also out to get this guy. And so she pushes him for information, and he says that he was captured, and some people made a nanobot replica of his face. And he has no idea what they did with it, which, like I said before, is just proof that it's proof of why I love nanobots, because nanobots can do whatever the hell they want. Yeah. Hiccup there for a moment. So that happens. She gets that information, and it looks like she's getting cornered by Blue Scorpion Lady. And then Red Hood and the Outlaws turn up, which, I don't know. I mean, it kind of makes sense for them to be there, but at the same time, it feels like, why are they there in my Batman Anniversary book? Superman hasn't showed up anywhere, although from what I understand, he's too busy dealing with some kind of doomsday virus, but that's neither here nor there. Also, this is set in the future, so that doesn't matter. So yeah, Red Hood and the Outlaws come. They pick her up. They get out of there. Starfire is driving a ship for some reason. Why can't you just pick them up and fly? Can New 52 Starfire not do that? I don't know. I don't read Red Hood and the Outlaws, but I don't know. So all that happens. We see the other side of things. Julia's still dealing with stuff with Alfred. She basically stresses how disappointed she is that, he's a butler. He could do so many better things with his life, but he's a butler. Oh, but you have no idea who he really is, so she comes off kind of annoying in this issue, and she gets better about it as the comic goes on, but she's kind of annoying in this issue. So, they're dealing with that. Their family imbalance, Alfred trying to welcome her back into his life when she really doesn't have that much of an interest in it, seeing what he's become. We cut to a few shots of Selina, Catwoman, whatever, hanging out in a graveyard, reading a note from her father, who, is all but stated, it's Carmine Falcone, and she already knows it. Which, it's not a twist, but, it's a nice thing to do. It's a nice thing to focus on, especially given what I know, having read the few issues that come after this, and knowing what happens at Batman 28, knowing that Selina is going to be the kingpin of Gotham's criminal empire, it is probably good that she knows she's Falcone's daughter. It'll probably help to manipulate events so she can take over his crime family and that. So that's all going on. We see more of what Stephanie's doing. She's researching, her dad's history as hard as she possibly can. We see, a very slightly retconned backstory where, yes, he was a game show host, just like he was back in the old ones. Suffered from OCD, and, he got sick of dealing with stupid people on his show making all this money when he and his family were barely scraping by, so it turned him into a criminal. And honestly, in the best page in the comic, we see Stephanie has a flashback to one of the times when Batman apprehended the Clue Master. And it's just a great haunting image, but she sees him in the middle of the night, and Batman's Batman looks like friggin' Cthulhu, and he's got the Clue Master by the throat. And Arthur just tells her, go back to bed, honey, you're just having a bad dream. And he basically pleads with Batman, please let me go. She's my daughter, I have a wife, I am all they have, I promise you I can reform, which sounds so pre-52 Clue Master, that as good as that scene is, I'm a little pissed that it's there, because he has no problem drawing a gun on her back in issue 3. And, man, I'm not sitting here looking for things to complain about, but it's just the Clue Master's transition is just, it feels shitty. Ugh. It just feels poorly handled, it feels unnecessary. If I felt like he was more being pushed to do this, if I felt like he didn't want to do this, I feel like it would make him a better, well-rounded character. And her mom is on his side, too, and I don't like what they've done to Crystal, but I don't know. So, Stephanie's still doing the investigating. This issue came out the week after Father's Day, incidentally, so that's why we have 4 different women dealing with their 4 different fathers. And that was kind of a cool idea. I thought that was kind of cute. Other than that, the only real highlight to mention was a cameo by El Gacho. Oh, the Batman of Argentina made an appearance. I love El Gacho. I have loved El Gacho since he was first introduced. Again, not a huge Batman Incorporated fan, but any time I see a Latino character, I get a little excited every time I see a Latino character. Latino characters they're a lot of fun usually. Whether they're good, bad, men, women, whatever, Latino characters tend to be fun. And El Gaucho is most certainly fun, and it was fun to see him show up and whoop some ass. I had a lot of fun seeing him there, and again, I had fun with some of the stuff this comic ran with, but man, the art direction was just what killed me on this one. It's what keeps me from liking this more than I do. But even having said all that and saying how I do not like Ian Ber-TRAM, this was still a pretty good issue. Not the strongest, but, you know, not the worst either. Not the one I'm being impatient about. I enjoyed this issue, and it certainly left me looking forward to number 12, just due to the various things that were running at the time. And I'll just say right now, issue 12 gave me even more, and I'm very much looking forward to talking about that. So, I'll see you shortly for issue 12.